So good afternoon, everyone. I am Parag. Yeah, many of the backbenchers, I was also a backbencher in the school when it comes to education. And backbenching is really amazing sometimes. Uh, Before I start, let me tell me my background because I am really not fitting in this entire auditorium in the sense I am a medical doctor. I started about three hospitals. I worked in disasters and emergencies in earthquakes and tsunamis. I also worked in terrorism in Afghanistan and India-Pakistan border. Once I was even abducted by a terrorist group. So I come from medicine, emergency, and those kind of background. After developing one of the biggest hospital here in Pune called Lata Mangeshkar's Dinanath Mangeshkar Hospital, in 2002, while on Erasmus Fellowship in Europe, I left medicine and I started my software company in gaming. And this is like complete shift in my career into educational and social and serious games. And last 22 years, we thrived very well. We work with most amazing organizations in the world. And we have our own, of course, products and the games which are used in education in a big way. And so today I'm very happy. Madhukar is here and both of us are Shubha Fellows and I would like to really congratulate you for such a conference. I'm going to bring a very different perspective in this conference because everybody is talking about teachers. I would like to talk about students because I feel in education students are the core of because they are the main stakeholders and how we are trying to transform the system through our products, games is what is showcased. So this is the kind of a reality which we have. We bravely followed it up last 22 years in changing the ecosystem of education from below upwards. And this is the product which is my life mission, life passion called Real Lives. And I'm going to present about Real Lives in a couple of minutes. So basically, it's a product called Real Life Simulation. It's a simulation game, and it's a big platform. It's not just a small game which has nothing. I present a Section 8 company called Real Life Foundation, which is like a social non-profit company. And one of the objectives, like all of us as professionals, always feel that why we should be called in 21st century student as students, why we should not call them as change makers. Because change maker has a onus, change maker has a responsibility. And change making is not you coming to the classroom and learning something which your teacher is trying to teach you, but you should do something in the society because your brain, your capabilities of your body are so much that you could easily become a change maker in this society. So I always say that students in charge of their own learning and why not they should learn future ready skills themselves. Because the Neanderthal man never asked his son or his daughters about what are the future ready skills. We are privileged and we are having luxury to ask these questions in our generations because we are really cramped as a society and we are really in a challenged society despite there is physical development, material development and a lot of very interesting things happening here in the society. The purpose of education for me is finding hero. It's not about getting marks and getting your mark sheet. It's about finding hero. Maybe it's teacher who is a hero or maybe a student who is a hero. Because if I ask 10 students to walk on the street from one end to another end, at the end of the street, if I ask them that what did you find, what did you see, all 10 are going to tell me that they saw something which is different than others. Now, if education is not like that, how we are going to really learn what I like, what is my passion, and how I am going to really change the society when I become adult or when I become someone in the society. So these are the pertinent questions. And today when I travel across the globe, when I go to Korea, Japan, even India, of course, everywhere in the cities, urban part of the world, the challenge which is emerging is that is young people are going to be consumers or are they going to be change makers? Everybody is buying on Amazon, everybody is buying online, everybody is using mobile phones to all these things. So there is a small film which was made by a documentary film called True Cost. So this is just 2 minute clip. Let's play that clip.
Friday shopping mania is still playing out tonight in malls across America.
In some places across this country tonight, it's as if someone announced we're in danger of running out of stuff, and those who need stuff had better go out and buy it now because it's going away forever.
Walmart doing more than 10 million transactions in the first 4 hours of the frenzy. A record 15,000 people at Macy's in New York City. Shoppers hung tough.
Black Friday will be the single largest day of the retail year, certainly in the case of Macy's. We'll do more business on this day than on any other day of the year.
Nation, this orgy of Christmas shopping proves America is back. We are once again. Once again spending money we don't have on things we don't need to give to people we don't like. USA! 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 USA!
I've kept my grip so tight. I won't let anyone get in my way. I want beautiful things, golden rings, and I get what I want. I live just to get what I want, and I want it.
Being a doctor, I always, and this was sudden shock to me. When I saw this film, I thought she's my mother, and if I was that child, that is a chance we never teach in education. What is the privilege? Where I might be born in, say, sub-Saharan Africa, in a very small village, having same intelligence, everything same, but there is someone in the city who has the same intelligence and who can grow whatever he wants to grow into. Now, this is a chance we never teach in education. This is a disparity which is huge. And we all feel, even my children or the students or the teachers might feel that the children should be like this. But then we are making, this word is, really troubling me. Making students job ready. The job is what? 15,000 rupees and 20,000 rupees. We never ask actually, are we making our students life ready? We never ask that. And then they go up, they divorce, they fight, they don't know what is their role in the society, the climate change is happening. All sorts of things happen when we are not teaching in our classrooms what is life readiness. We are just making, young people just job ready. And this is, many years ago, modern times, Charlie Chaplin made this movie where he said that 8 hours of job you do in a factory like that, you get stupid, you get mad. You don't know actually what is your role in the society. Now, these are the challenges of the now. This is a very interesting research, and I always refer this research, that what is the space against time in the society. And very powerful research which was carried out, and they found that next week and next few years, this red square, is people are thinking only family and maybe about their city, not beyond that. And very few people are actually in the world, which we call as global citizens, are very few because they don't know actually what is the world. If you ask how many countries exist in this world, nobody knows. If you ask what is the infant mortality rate, nobody knows. What is the maternal mortality rate? When mothers are dying, when infants are dying, we don't know anything about it. We cannot do anything. Now this is, the most interesting times. And we are talking about millennial, generation Alpha and generation Z and all sorts of things. And we are talking about their echo screens and how they are actually using their echo screens like this film, where they are actually buying something despite having so much information about which exists in this world. Is that interesting, not interesting for them? I don't know. And there is a big real world disconnect. The latest term in generation Alpha is delulu. Delulu is I am in a delusion state. And this is what the common word they use with talking to each other. So they are in delusional world where the real world doesn't even connect. So that's how the disconnected we are with the real world. So education needs extremely higher revolution, not reform. because reforms are just correcting the mistakes. Revolution is something you start from the scratch and you actually work on it relentlessly and having some conviction. I am deeply impressed with Ken Robinson because he talks about schools and how they kill creativity, how they kill innovation abilities. Amazing. Like when I get depressed in my work, I always listen to Ken Robinson. So education revolution, what it needs? It needs new tools, new pedagogies, new ways of learning, break the status quo and imagine new. That is what actually we are born for, if we are sitting here. So I thought that games can change the world. This is like 2020, 2002, when I was out of the hospital. I worked with one of the fastest cardiac surgeons. And we used to always debate Neetu Manke, his name is very powerful. We said that every time we operate on the heart and we create bypass, every patient is same, every heart is same, but every outcome is different. Now this is a game we are playing. Life is a game. You don't know actually what is going to happen next. If you go to earthquakes, people don't even know that what happened a minute before ever existed in their life. So life is a game, and if life is a game, why the students would not learn something from the game? That's the simple theory we had. And then these are the students.
Teenagers, and we're the future of, we're the future of the world, and teenagers like video games, so I can't think of any better way to show this information.
In my presentation, probably you may not see a teacher because teachers are standing behind. And they keep telling me all the time, wherever I go to Australia, Korea, Japan, where the product is being used, they say that we don't teach this language to our young people in these classrooms. And they are speaking this language because they are playing real lives. And this is very, very interesting. So game has been amazingly creative domain. My team has been amazing, like 22 years we are designing amazing sorts of game. In fact, actually one of the games you see, Chakraview, is about farmer suicide in Vidarbha, which got very powerful. And even the 8th standard student who can play that game understands actually why farmers commit suicide. This game is free. This was supported by the Ford Foundation and Tata Trust, so that's why this game is free. So, these kind of games, which are driven by real data of the world. This is a small clip about real life. So basically, we use global statistical data. It's a game driven by huge statistical data coming from 193 countries which signed the mandate of United Nations. You can imagine actually this data is from birth to death of any person on the earth. So it's a huge data which we collected over the years from various sources. Like they are coming from World Bank, UNICEF, United Nations, Oxfam, disaster data comes from there. Many organizations, 150 organizations which collect data. Now, if I ask in the school or in higher education, if I go to the university, that do you know these organizations, what kind of data they collect? Do you know what data is that? Because students are not interested because this data is numbers, it is Excel sheets. It is not making any sense. Creating experience out of that data is that in a country like Burundi or for example, Liberia in Africa, if infant mortality is rate high and if you are born in the game, in those countries, probably you might die as an infant. Now this is where it shocks young people and it starts actually asking them to be change makers. So the purpose of the game is that it creates the billions of life stories. Actually, billion is a small word. My game is such that if you play this game even 10 trillion times, no life is going to be same. No life. Because it is completely based on highly probabilistic data, completely random. So there is no chance that no life, like our life. Even the twin brothers, twin sisters' life is different. So that kind of randomness we have built. We have two Nobel laureates as our mentors. My team is only 6 people, and out of that, two mentors are Nobel Prize winners. So he always said that, real life puts the face to the real statistical data, which nobody has done. We have presentations. I think I should get a little bit more time because there is other presenter is not coming. So this is the website of the game. This is the teacher dashboard. It's a huge game. So those who are interested, they can either contact me, they can come to my office, or I can come to their organization and show them. It's a brilliantly built dashboard. We have now 3 versions of the game. One is English, the second is Korean, because we are hugely scaling up in Korea right now. And third is Sweden, because there is a research being carried out by Uppsala University right now with 1,000 young Swedish students. And the next version is Japanese, and maybe we are trying for Hindi and Chinese also. So this is the way you can be born in the game using sustainable development goals or randomness or design a character. It's really mind-boggling. We also have very powerful mobile version both on Apple and Android. The demo is free, and the license for the gamer community is only $3, which is about 200 rupees, which is nothing. So this is the Apple version. And we started now doing research on AI and ChatGPT. And I think we got one of the best award in the world right now by an organization called 100 in Helsinki, Finland, about the most impactful and most innovative project in the world using AI very ethically. Now, the way we use AI in the game right now is that when you are born, there is a birth story which is generated, taking your initial attributes or variables from your life, that who was your mother, who was your father, how you were born, what is your mother doing, what is your father doing, what jobs they have, are they very poor, are they rich, whatever. So that data is generally there. And then secondly, we use a lot of things in learning. For example, reflections on empathy. So there is a prompt which is now generated at the end of your life when you die as a character. You can just click the button and you will get the reflections on empathy from that particular life. So you don't need a teacher actually. This is what I am trying to say. And in Korea now they are doing the research that do we really need a teacher? Because teacher in the sense teaching, but the role of teacher is going to be a facilitator. And this is how in Korea it is doing. The second big thing they learn is about key life values I learned. Perseverance, greed, value of education, value of healthcare. It's really, really amazing, and ChatGPT is really helping us in a big way. And third is, of course, what my family challenged with sustainable development goals. Now, ask any teacher about teach sustainable development goals in the classroom. Impossible, because he has to teach his own subject. He doesn't know what is the connection of geography, mathematics with the sustainable development goal. A lot of challenges. But this is now getting very easy because students play the game and they start teaching themselves.
When I play life in real life.
Anyway, I'll skip this little bit. So there are lots of workshops happening across the globe using real lives on sustainable development goal. This is a small This is in South Korea. This is orchid in Baner. So not that we are not in India, but Indian schools are showing a little bit slow response because the teachers' main worry is that we never taught our subjects through a game, how we are going to teach them. So we are trying to overcome that, talking to various organizations across India.
Hi, I'm Sia Paul. I'm from the Orchid School. We've had the experience and the pleasure of playing real lives since the last 1 year, and it's been a great experience. I think it's so fun, but there's just so much to learn in that one period that we have in a week. Whether it's about the history of the place that you're born in, or about the political turmoil and the situation that is over there, there's just a lot to learn. I feel like this game is just so relevant because skills like empathy and sympathy, which are very relevant in the 21st century.
So these are the words used by students, not by teachers. They are not teaching it; they are learning by themselves. It's spontaneous. This is a class in Korea where they started making mind maps using life they played, And they are now actually digging out, and the teachers are standing behind. This guy who is in specs is a teacher. There is another lady who is a teacher, and they are just watching what students are doing, and they are amazed. See the capability of the students, the way they bring their knowledge on the paper. So these are the skills I see developing by real life. These are the 8 skills. Let's go fast. One is students as empowered learners, digital global citizens, knowledge constructors, innovative designers. This is a project in Korea where they started a project in Africa now with Tanzania on water crisis. Computational thinkers, creative communicators. They write amazing letters to their characters. Global collaborators and sustainability promoters. Teachers and change makers. Now this is another thing which I am seeing now. This particular teacher you see in Korean classroom, she started voluntarily doing teachers programs using real lives. And this is one of the classrooms she has. This teacher was about to resign, this particular Korean teacher. And now she is taking a leadership to teach other teachers about how they can bring real life into the classroom. Lakshmi is one of the teachers from Bane. She is the director. And this is what she says, that NEP, NCF agendas are actually fulfilled by real lives. In higher education, we are in Zurich, in ETH, where Einstein studied and taught. One of the most powerful workshops we did. This is the workshop on social entrepreneurship in higher education. Yeah. These are the students there. This is in Bangkok, Chula University, where Professor Rag was running the workshop on empathy. This is Korea. This is Korea, Nanyang University. This is Samsung University in Korea. We have a MOU now. This is Korea University Economics Department. We have a MOU with them. This is Utkal University in Bhubaneswar. They were brave and they started a project with us. This is Tata Administrative Services, and they asked us to train their TA, task fellows they call it, for 1 day using games. And one of the biggest thing Tata asked us to bring the empathetic value into the mindset of these Tata's task fellows who are going to be the next MDs and CEOs. So these are the kind of classrooms we have. There are 10 research papers on real lives from Santa Clara, New York, and you name the university and we have it. And these are very powerful. This is a PhD thesis from Germany by Annika Stuppert. She studied real lives in Australia, California, and Switzerland in the schools there. Currently, right now, there is a research project which is going on with Professor Nygren in Sweden, in Uppsala University, with 1,000 young people, how they react and how they get impacted with real lives. So these are the kind of century skills we are trying to build. We started using this empathy canvas, which is very powerful tool right now, and we have now created a online tool where it is analyzed by AI. And on the right side, you see the score of that empathy, which is 8 out of 10. We are actually talking to Professor Patki about it. So ocean model, and we are trying to integrate the psychological models behind. We have a large vision now. We want to go global. I had a meeting with 1 hour meeting with Mr. Modi, and he appointed me on a committee how games and visualizations can be brought into the schools. As I said, we have 2 Nobel laureates on our advisory board, and both are very passionate about real lives. Yeah, so real life is about novel initiatives, it's about goodness and greater goodness, it's about empathy, social emotional skills, global citizenship, understanding, knowing and feeling the real world, reforming education, taking it beyond 4 walls, equality, disparity, inspiring young people to be change makers. What today's world is talking about is data is new oil. Facebook, Google, and unfortunately Baidu, one of the worst companies in India, stealing and selling data, control your devices. Against that, what we say is poor and disadvantaged are many in this world. People are dying. Young change makers need to be, there in the society. We have to work for greater goodness and solving the most important and urgent problem, and that is data for us as empathy. We are fortunate to have supported by very nice people who believe in greater goodness, and very nice foundations who also believe in doing greater good. So at the end, I always say that you begin with other people's stories and end up with your own. This is what happens when we talk to each other, when we are friends, when we meet some strangers. This is what happens in our life. We actually almost learn everything. The story of real life has just started, and be the change makers is the only message we want to give the young people, whosoever it is. It could be a teacher, it could be a student. So this is the most powerful project we are happy to start in Pune, and this is a Pune initiative which is going global across the world. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We can take a couple of questions if you would like. We have about 5 minutes.
Anybody who wants to ask a question, I'll just request you to press the mic on your table and just be audible.
I have a question. Yeah, thank you, sir. Lovely presentation. So there's been a lot of focus on building 21st century skills, SEL in kids that will enable them in order to, perform better, be future ready, enhance their life skills. But then also there is a talk about how do we actually measure these? How do we say that a child has become ready, or can I mean, these kind of inputs, I mean, they do add value, but then how do we see at the end of, say, and how much time does it take? I mean, it's an evolving process, so how much time would it take for a child, for us to say that, okay, I mean, this child can do better given these set of inputs? And where does this entire thing stand vis-a-vis, like FLN is given a lot of importance in NEP, but they have also called out well-being, these skills as an important area. So where do these things feature? Is there an organization that works at the central level advocating for policy change? Uh, these are
So
few things that I
yeah. So
wanted.
one is we are a small team and we don't do our own research. We are always dependent on research carried out by universities and professors. So fortunately, we got very good inputs from very powerful research universities across the globe, and we constantly are in touch with these professors across the universities, and we constantly keep learning. For example, this PhD thesis by this girl, German girl, is amazingly 400 page, which talks about classrooms and how they can be changed by real lives. We took a lot of inputs from there, and we keep creating the new versions. That is one. The second is now we are working with some psychologists across the world, where we are trying to build some models within. And one of the curiosity as a Ashoka fellow and Ashoka has is being change maker. So all these skills are anyway happening. Like there is a very big paper on empathy and empathy as a skill, how it is developed. Now, how fast it is developed, I am surprised myself because I am a doctor and we have to be empathetic with our patients anyway. But in Bane, the Orchid School, they are using for last 1 year. And in last 1 year, their experience is that the students have in fact changed their entire behavior. There were students who were kind of vagabonds, even in Korea. And one school actually invited me saying that some students were literally a nuisance in the school. And one NGO in the same city called Gwangju, which is in south part of South Korea, they called the school saying that a few of your students started working with us suddenly. So we are interested why your students are working with us. And then the teacher got very surprised. So she met the NGO and then she knew that these are the students who started working. And when she asked those students, they said, actually, we never imagined that how painful the life could be for an extreme poor person. Because these are like, when you play the game, you will know actually, this is all driven by economics data. And you are born suddenly in some family where the monthly income could be $6. And in California, even in Mumbai, people get shocked that, oh, I drink Starbucks coffee, which is $5, $6, and this family of four is surviving only $4. This reality of the world was never part of the classroom. And the greatest gift of mirror neurons in psychology about how you can actually relate with other human beings or other families or something is never going to extinct. That's what I definitely can say. When they see something happening on the screen, some of the students have pledged themselves that they will do something in this world. Like this Swiss example, where they could easily join companies like Novartis, and not that it's bad, but these are the very powerful multinational companies. But all the 200 students there in most powerful European university, they said that we will start our own organizations which are socially driven, or we will work with projects which are socially driven. Now, this is what actually we all want. that how you can, one of the biggest project, one of the senior Ashoka Fellows, Vijay Mahajan, started, is called Brightest for the Poorest. Otherwise, the people who work with poor, they are not bright people many a times. So how you can bring that experience of intelligence to solve the urgent problems of the world. The next thing in our logo, we always say that empathize and act. Act we have always left with the schools or the universities or with the parents. But we are now trying to do something more in those space. One tool we are trying to design, which is called Changemaker Index, which is similar to Ashoka's. But Ashoka is a very routine question and answer kind of a tool. Here, actually, we want to process the data behind because we are on the cloud, we are on the mobile. So we can actually get the data how student is responding to various situations, various choices, various decisions in life, and then create a score and tell him that this is the change maker index score you are going into, and probably you can change the world in a very powerful way. So this is the dream. Of course, like every time it's the team you need to have the wish of having some more money for the team, because the world is not volunteer anymore. World is getting professional, and working with limited money is getting little challenging. So we are now going across the globe, asking people how they can support these kind of tools we are trying to design.
Parag Mohoday, धन्यवाद. Sir, personally very impressive. My question is that now, since you have already served students in Orchid School, and I work with municipal corporation schools, Zilla Parishad schools, and if in an international school, in that kind of setup, we have such students who are also struggling, have such struggles. I've come across students who are even more worse. The socio-economic barriers are even more there's a yawning gap. Very recently, I went to a school, two students sitting near the principal's office. I sat down with them. I said, "Why are you here?" And then he said, "We want to become the next Manya Survey, Vadala, shootout at Vadala." And he had a huge list. So it is concerning for me, that aspect. So is there any way where you're approaching the public education systems in Pune or anywhere else, because you've gone international? Is there any way which we can go to these people also? Because the communities they come from, sir, is very diverse and also violent in many aspects. The people they look up to is also, they have very limited role models.
Yeah. No, so one thing is sometimes you work in a cutting edge technology or cutting edge ideas. First paper of empathy on real life was published by Santa Clara University in 2010, when nobody was talking about empathy in the schools, nobody was talking about social emotional skills. So if you go to the school and talk to them, they used to wonder, what you are talking about. Because everything was about, again, getting good marks and doing something like a physical awards. So this was one. So we actually created another brick model called Young Changemaker Conference. That used to be one of the most powerful conference in Pune, where 200 schools, even Urdu schools and 22 corporation schools used to participate. I had to stop that project for certain reasons, where we started asking for some collaboration with the companies, and they were not really impressed. But this Young Changemaker Conference was the brick model of real lives, where 200 schools used to participate on two themes. One is the research theme, and second is the art theme. And they used to come in the conference. The entire conference was driven by students. Not any of us or not even teachers were on the stage. They were always in the audience. And this was the most powerful conference. We are trying to restructure that conference online. But we are open that I don't mind working with anyone with Pune Corporation schools or anyone, no problem. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. And I think one of my major takeaways is, how do you bring about a shift in the way we think from always talking about how do you make students school ready to making students life ready? Amazing presentation. I know there are a lot of questions that you can take during tea time. What I will request now is our chair to share their closing comments, and then we can proceed for break.
Thank you so much. I think a session that raises more questions is one that's interesting. So I think we have quite a few questions. There are a lot that I've jotted down myself, but that's purely from a devil's advocate perspective, from a pure researcher perspective. So I'm sure we'll have those over a cup of tea. It was wonderful to know. I myself have played the simulation way back in 2017, and I'm
Yeah.
sure it's gone through a lot of iterations. Um, it's necessary to tap into empathy. We could have questions in terms of whether, how much of screen time are we again allowing? Are we again going back to technology? Are we again taking our children back to screens, whereas real life connections are being disconnected? So again, we are taking them to a simulation. But I think this can be looked at as one way in which you're trying to tap into empathy and building empathy. We wouldn't be great at assuming that a simulation is the only way in which it can happen. It's definitely one way in which it could happen. So I think we need to look at it in a different way, and also as a teaching aid in different scenarios, not just in schools, but I think even in the corporate setup, you've tried it out, and those experiments have really worked out. So thank you so much for setting us
Yeah.
with ideas, giving us a lot of new thoughts and more questions, and thank you everyone for being.
Yeah, and just now the news is coming from Korea, Seoul National University, which is the topmost in Korea. They started using real lives in their ethics department, training their 10,000 students about ethics through real lives. So this is a news to me, like I could not even imagine as a founder of this game that how differently this game can be used.
Thank you so much.